is not task force. It's different. I mean, you can have something functional, just like but that's just it. And those trucks, how those trucks are still able to move, including so metal logo. So police, why am I challenging? Here's a bit of both challenges thrown out by the enemy within the top hand due to military intrigues, vainglory, and egoism. The letter as an the internal grace of Almighty Allah, give thanks to God, strength, and responsibility of the agency from day one. I appointed pioneer director and head of Amotekun in Osun State. And it goes on and on. And now the core spokesperson in the state, Idowu Yusuf, confirmed she is taking for comment on the development. Now, yes, this is not police. It could be already and accepted, not the police. In fact, it doesn't come close to the police at all. But it doesn't change the fact that this is an institution of state nonetheless. I mean, Amotekun is not just some ragtag vigilante group. No. They were set up by, by laws. They have the backing of law in the various states where they do exist in the southwest. The State House of Assembly in the southwestern states that adopted Amotekun passed laws that validated their existence. So they are known to law. They are an agency of government. Not the police maybe, but an agency of government nonetheless. Being funded, administered and supervised by the respective state governments in the southwestern part of the country. And even though they're not the police, they are a security outfit nonetheless. Now, the head of the Amotekun Osun State, or pseudo-security outfit if you will, if you prefer that, the head of Amotekun in Osun State has said he struggled with, quote, operational challenges thrown up by the enemy within the top hierarchy of the corps due to military intrigues, vainglory, and egoism. Now, I'm not sure I know exactly what that means, but it does suggest strongly that all is not well within the Amotekun, especially in Osun State, which is why the now former head had to leave. Considering this as an example of state government's management of security apparatus, the Amotekun that is, especially with the Osun State situation, which has led to this conversation at this time, can state government effectively manage a state police if we were to have it at this time, is what we're discussing. The line's open, call 0700 923 093, that's 0700 923 093. We're live on facebook.com/Nigeria InfoPH. We're also live on Twitter at Nigeria InfoPH. Considering the situation with the Amotekun in Osun State, where the Amotekun, now former head, has had to leave his or quit his position based on operational challenges thrown up by the enemy within the top hierarchy of the corps due to military intrigues, vainglory, and egoism. Can state government effectively manage state police? Hello, hard fact to welcome. Please go on. Once again, you can join the conversation as well via Twitter at Nigeria InfoPH, via Facebook also. It's facebook.com/Nigeria InfoPH. Hello, you're welcome. Please go on.
Hello, Dayo.
Yeah, hi, go ahead.
Good evening. Talking about state police, I think state police is needed considering the present security challenge.
If I may interject at this time, I did my utmost to explain what the conversation is about. So I'm not asking you if state police is needed now or not, or if it's important or not. As a matter of fact, I think everyone agrees that state police is very critical or crucial at this time. However, the matter is, are you convinced state government now, not sure now, can effectively manage the system structure if they would like to now?
That's all it takes. They have the resources. If it is provided by the law that state should have a state police, I think it's good for every state. State police is needed.
What convinces you that the state has resources to effectively manage this?
And because what you need is state, police. I'm sure every
there are states right now they're struggling to pay their work currently. Right now, yes, how states that are winning because several months.
Well, first of all, they consider the important things needed. They don't need just going back and establishing it. And again, establishing it is not only what is needed. And doing what is needed, providing the necessary instruments to establish this, and with them, it's baseless.
All right, great for me. Thanks for your contribution. Well, let's move on, however. Hello, thanks. 0700 93 023 is the number to call. 0700 93 093. If you do Google search, you find all kinds of articles lending credence to the proposition put forward by several of the persons that the Amotekun in the Southwest is actually not being fully funded. Hello, Hard Fact 1.
Hello?
Hi, go ahead.
Yes. Dayo, my name is Sally Dixon.
Go ahead.
Yes, I think going by what the Amotekun boss just told us about tricks, about criticism, it seems that to me that there is a kind of institutional interference, and that they are not being allowed to perform the duties independently. It is kind of foul from one, lack of motion is part of why is throwing in the towel. A lack of proper coordination, lack of independence to operate, and lack of tools too with which they can work with. And so these are some of the factors meditating. And so drawing from the Amotekun situation, I don't think the state governments now are prepared if we are to base our argument on what is on ground. They are not prepared. They lack the resources. Dayo, a particular state in the United States, January this year, announced $10 billion in funding their state police. Where can we raise such amount of money from here in Nigeria? I'm not sure we can raise. I'm not sure we can raise that to fund the entire Nigeria police force. But even though police force cannot be funded.
I'm not against making analogies or making comparisons, but some comparisons, come on. How can you be talking about raising $10 billion to fund state police?
I'm just citing the United States of America.
We can't even raise $10 billion to fund the entire Nigeria police force.
I'm just saying what it takes to fund a state police, to equip a police.
Yeah, but hold on. But what is needed, even though we are far below or way behind, some comparisons are still questionable because what is needed to fund the police in the U.S. cannot be the same as to what is needed to fund the police in Nigeria as well. It can't be the same. Number one, the population is different. There could be other things as well. So you can't say because they raised $10 billion there for a state police, then the average state in Nigeria should raise $10 billion as well.
No. That would be on the high side. Even here in Nigeria, the different states have different challenges.
Absolutely.
Different states have different challenges. The challenge in River State, policing River State will be quite different from policing Akwa Ibom State. Equally, policing Nasarawa State will be different from what it will need to police Sokoto State. And so they will have different challenges, they have different needs. But the question is, most states in Nigeria are still struggling with payment of worker salary. 30 yes, just the 30%, the increase. They cannot pay the 30 naira minimum wage. So how can they bring in a burden? The state should increase its burden, funding the police sector with the entire state. They have to equip the police. They have to instruments, bring in patrol vans, bring in electricity, bring in those that borders with waterways, have flying boats to patrol the seaways. And so you now see that even the federal government is finding it difficult to fund the Nigerian police. But if you want to narrow it to state level, it will be difficult to police the Nigerian police force. The government will more to fund the state police.
All right, good.
It's sustainable at one time.
Yeah, for me, thanks contribution.
Lagos State can.
But I must move on now. A commercial break company, but before then, so this story, by the way, this incident happened in Osun State. The Amotekun boss who's resigned right now. And here's a piece from the Punch newspaper published by 2020. Cromwell Group as Amotekun battles funding others. Southwest Security Network, popular known as Operation Amotekun, is battling with problems with funding and equipment in Ondo and Ekiti State, where it has commenced activities. But 10 months after it was inaugurated, by the Southwest governors in Ibadan, Oyo State capital, it has yet to be in Lagos, Osun, and Oyo State. This was as far back as 2020. It has started in Ekiti. They were having funding problems already, even at that time. Another story here from Daily Post, Daily Trust Bank, last year, September last year. Amotekun so safe court not properly funded, coalition tells Ogun government. This was in Ogun State. So in Ekiti State, in Ondo State, in Ogun State, in Osun State, there have been issues of funding. With not police, by the way, not police. Can they run in 50 now? There was You're welcome back. It is 5:30 p.m. Discussions are on, and once again, you're welcome to join in via the usual platforms via facebook.com/Nigeria Info PH, via Twitter at Nigeria Info PH as well. And here's the matter that, that's led to this conversation. Story from the Punch. Osun Amotekun boss resigns, cites operational challenges. Once again, a bit of the story. Field Commander for Osun State Security Network Agency, known as Amotekun Corps, Amitolu Shitu, has quit his position in the organization. Shitu did not give any specific reason for his resignation in a letter addressed to the Secretary, to the Secretary to the state government. And the letter... In the letter, he said while in office, he struggled with, quote, operational challenges thrown up by the enemy within the top hierarchy of the Corps due to military intrigues, vainglory, and egoism. Yeah. Now, here's a somewhat unrelated story. This one from Daily Trust. This was published September last year. Amotekun So-Safe Corps not properly funded, coalition tells Ogun government. A coalition of civil society organizations, pro-democracy and human rights groups in Ogun State have expressed concern that the state-owned security outfit Amotekun and So-Safe Corps are being underfunded. The coalition argued that the outfits had not performed optimally in addressing insecurity in the state due to lack of funding. This was last year, by the way. Last year in Ogun State. Different from Osun State, where the Amotekun commander just resigned. So in Ogun State, they have that issue. As far back as when they were initially set up, or just months after they were, less than a year after they were set up, this story from December 2020 from the Punch as well. Crime rate grows as Amotekun battles funding others. Southwest Security Network, popularly known as Operation Amotekun, is battling with problems of funding and equipment in Ondo and Ekiti State, where it has commenced activities. This was just months after it was set up in Ondo and Ekiti. And in Ogun State, they're having issues with funding. It's quite likely that they have similar problems in Osun State as well. And besides the whole Amotekun situation, have we forgotten... how about the other one in River State? What's it called again? Goodness gracious. Can someone remind me, please? The local security outfit set up by the River State government. Oh my. Can you help me out, please, via WhatsApp? Anyone, please help me out via WhatsApp on 0809 030641 or via our Facebook page. Remember, we're live on Facebook right now. Can you help me via Facebook, please? Facebook.com/Nigerian Info page. We are streaming live there right now. Can you help me with the name of the River State local security outfit? The one set up by the River State government. The one that's been headed by a former police officer, Mr. Chukuma. I've forgotten his surname right now. Oh, goodness. I need some help with this, please. Yes, exactly. That's it. The Neighborhood Safety Corps Watch. That's the one. That is the one. the River State Neighborhood Safety Corps Watch, or the Neighborhood Watch in River State. I mean, how many times did I have, top-ranking executives or authorities in the Neighborhood Watch here in the studio to talk about the River State government not adequately funding the Neighborhood Watch? How many times? At some point, I lost count. Actually, really, they're not being properly funded, even here in River State. And it's not unlikely. And by the way, the Neighborhood Watch story is a very peculiar one, because at the time the Neighborhood Watch was supposed to be set up, it faced a lot of backlash. It faced a lot of resistance. I think that's the right word to use. It faced a lot of resistance, especially from political circles, or within political circles. But the River State government fought tooth and nail to ensure that the Neighborhood Watch came to be. And eventually, there were even litigations, there were matters in court over the River State Neighborhood Watch. But eventually, at the end of the day, the neighborhood watch saw the light of day. It was set up. And now the complaint is that they're not properly funded. They don't have equipment to work with. They're not earning any salaries. Nothing's being paid to them. And like I said, it's not unlikely that there are similar tales of woe in other parts of the country as well. So that said, are state governments really ready to administer state police if they were given such powers at this time? Call 0700 923 093. That's 0700 923 093. We're live on facebook.com/Nigeria Info PH, Twitter at Nigeria Info PH. Hello, you're welcome.
Hello.
Hi, go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Go ahead, please.
Yes. You see, talk is cheap. For me, I've looked into this. All the while we have been talking about state police, I have always maintained my position that state governments are not ready. They only say those things just because of politics. When they want to play politics or talk politics, they would bring in state police. But in the actual sense, deep in their hearts, the state governors know that they are not even ready to fund state police, and they cannot. With the practical experience of what is going on in various states, it is very clear that this government, state government or state governors are not ready for anything state police. When we are drawing your analogy, you cited the task force, the healers they bought for them, as at the time they started that task force business. Today, those healers are like things you use in packing garbages. And the state governors is not even ready to replace them. If you look at those guys, when they are moving on the road, you become ashamed of people working under state government. So it is something that will happen. Even when they start the state police, if they happen to allow them to, have state police, they will be underfunded. What happened in Amotekun will still happen in the state police. People will resign. Unfortunately, if they are allowed to carry arms, they will now turn their guns on the people.
But already we have lots of cases of state governors, funding. Okay, maybe funding is not the word to use, but provided equipment to the police, even though they are not responsible for them primarily. They buy them vans, they buy them patrol vehicles, they buy them walkie-talkies, they buy them other equipment.
If you now have your own state police, it is not just once you buy that equipment. It's not over. It is something you will be buying continuously. The vehicles, you'll be buying it, changing their vehicles continuously. It is not something you buy once in 4 years, and just as they are doing now. And you say, because they bought vehicles for police once in 4 years, they can now do it when they have state police. It is not true. State police involve a lot of finances, and these governors are not ready to do that. So what about their salaries? They are struggling to pay the minimum wage to work at in their state.
All right. 913, hello.
Hello.
You're welcome. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good evening. Happy weekend.
Happy weekend. Go ahead, please.
Yes, my name is Robert Nadia. I call from a state. The question you asked is just like a leading question. Is it possible for the state to fund state police? My answer is a emphatic no. The last caller was trying to draw line, and I agree with it. There's no state governor that wishes any young man to have food in his stomach. There's no state.
That's a very strong. That's a very strong statement to make.
Okay, listen. Why I said so. The 200,000 bankers employed by River State government within the PDP, how much is their salary? 20,000. And a man live on 20,000 in a month, in a week.
What has that got to do with this conversation?
That's fine. If you ask me, is the money there for them to fund it? Particularly some of the states, like River State, the money is there for them to fund it, but they won't do it. They will not.
But the River State government does have a workforce. He does have a civil service that he pays salaries to every month and other allowances as well.
Good and fine. The workforce they have is the complaint not before your very eyes. And the complaint is not there. Those who have retired and all the rest, the pension gratuity, the backlash argument back and forth. It's all over, it's everywhere. Then you tell me that we don't have money to pay them. I won't agree. It's there. How many weeks ago did we just hear about the 13% derivation refunded by the Buhari to the Niger Delta State? Not weeks back. This money has been there. What do they do with money? So my view and my position is that if the state wants to fund it, if the manpower is 500 to 1,000 and they want to fund them, the possibility is there. I doubt if any governor will do that will happen. Thank you. I remember them.
How about you? What do you make of this? 0700 93 093. Can state government manage, effectively run and fund state police at this time? When the pseudo security outfit they've created, you have Amotekun in the southwest, River State here. We have the neighborhood watch. There are similar versions in other states. The cry remains the same: underfunding, lack of logistics. Hello, you're welcome.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, go ahead.
Yes, I'm talking from Port Harcourt, Borokri Precise.
Go ahead.
Yes, what I would say is that our political culture and consciousness is never matured enough to have state police. This is what I mean. For instance, Buhari being a president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, creating mandates for the Fulani herdsmen to raise that ego.
What does this have to do with the current conversation, for crying out loud?
I am just creating instance. For instance, if now this is the the bedrock of the failure of this state security outfit. Because, for instance, if a particular ethnic group become a governor.
Okay, you know what? I'm not going to entertain this any further. Just have to move along. Hello, hard factor, welcome. 0700 923 I'm asking you if state governments have what it funds to full it. What does one have to do with it? 0700 923 it's a John also come /Nigeria invite with your NPA. Hello, to please on.
Hello?
Go ahead. You're welcome. Go ahead. Go ahead, please.
What I just hear about that is looking as if they cannot fund it. They can fund it. The generator, they have workers. They are collecting from the companies, working, operating at a steady state. Some of them are generating money. They are paying but what is continuity. By the time
No. State police. If state police right today, state police is not a personal product. State police is not no rail that government and the government will continue with. If we have state police,
I'm not entirely. I'm not but they will bring some kind of they try to removing some set of people and bringing in some sort of people. They can start workers bring the people to that they are this blah 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 blah. Then I did at all India, then we are not take away set of food. So that's it. If continue to start from people, then you have area. If you cannot pay as high as better going to be like the other shop. Within the for federal police, then we could. So you cannot pay them. You can appoint 100 political advisor, and you are paying them highly money. And they are carrying security.
Which how much is the high money that they are being paid? You said they are paying them high money. How much money they are being paid?
I'm not talking advisor. I'm talking about governor assuming office and appoint this and appoint the special advisor.
Okay, I get it now. But even the ones the state governors have set up themselves. You have the Amotekun in the southwest. We have the neighborhood watch here in River State. Even those are not being properly funded.
I'm not funded because they don't see them as priority. If they see them as priority, they will pay them.
don't say that they don't have what it takes to fund them, but because they didn't see it as priority, that's why. Thank you so much.
All right. Got some more minutes to go before 6 p.m. We'll wrap this up at about that time. Remember, the major news is up at 6. 9013, hello, you're welcome. Please go on.
Good evening.
Hello, go ahead. Hello? 9013?
Hello.
Hi there. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, my name is Mogris Ubi. You see, I would also suggest that this establishment of state police should be based on the state resource strength.
Okay.
So if it is not working in other states, and it can work in River State. River State, should be allowed to establish state resource with the power given to it. Yes.
The question I'm asking you is, from what you have seen of how the states have run security outfits set up by them. In the southwest, you have Amotekun. In Osun State, there are issues with funding. In those states, in Ogun State, Ekiti State, there are issues with funding. They're saying that they can't function properly, they don't have funding. In River State here that you're talking about right now, we've got the Neighborhood Watch. Neighborhood Watch in River State is not being well funded either. I've spoken with some of the executives here in the studio several times, saying they have no equipment. They don't even have vehicles. They're not being paid. So I'm saying that with all of this, considering them as antecedents, are you confident that state government, which state governments, okay, you know what, I'd like to rephrase that question for you. Which state government are you convinced right now can adequately manage and fund effectively a state police? With the antecedents I've just mentioned.
Well, any state government can establish state it deems it necessary, and yes, if it deems it necessary, if you consider it a priority to establish a state police, so any state government is allowed, and I will also.
In River State here, let's go with River State again, as you mentioned. In River State, we have the neighborhood watch. It is not being well funded, if it is even being funded at all.
If it's not being funded, maybe it may be as a result of weak management.
Weak management.
One thing I know that
the management of the neighborhood watch is responsible for it not being funded.
Yes, there are people that do not have the knowledge to manage an outfit. So security outfit is very, very important. It's the people who
Wait,
are
just a moment. Help me understand this. So a state government sets up an agency. The state is not funding that agency or funding it properly, and then for you, the person responsible or the persons responsible for the lack of funding of that agency are the people whom the state appointed to head the agency.
Yes. The fact is that the state has not seen it as a priority and a need to establish state police.
No. Let's leave state police out for a while now. I'm talking about what you mentioned. You said that the reason the River State Neighborhood Watch, for example, is not being funded appropriately or not being funded well is because of the management of the Neighborhood Watch.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes, and the people that should manage state state police should be people with a proven integrity. With experience.
Where are the managers of the neighborhood watch? Where can you explain that to me further, please? Break it down for me, because I'm not on your level. Can you break it down for me? How that the management of the neighborhood watch in River State are responsible for the lack of funding at this time? Can you explain that to me, please?
Well, I'm talking about. I did mention about experience.
Okay.
Before anybody is employed to man a sort outfit, it should be well scrutinized and see that the person is well qualified.
Okay.
It's not proper to hand over an outfit.
How is the River State Neighborhood Watch responsible for it not being well funded now? Is the question I'm asking you.
Well, that's the same thing I'm saying.
No, that's not what you're saying. But go ahead. I hope you'll get there very soon, very quickly. Yeah.
Yes, that is the same thing I'm saying.
Okay.
If the people that are employed to man the state neighborhood watch,
yes,
are not they are inexperienced. They are in fact, and again.
Okay. What is it? Let me help you further. What is it that they ought to be doing if they were experienced enough, to borrow your expression, that would have brought the funding? If they had the experience you're referring to, what is it that they would have done that would bring the funding that they are not doing right now?
Well, it's rising up to their responsibility and giving information where necessary regarding the operation. The importance of this state police should
No. Let's stay with Neighborhood Watch for a while, just for a while. So they are providing the information. They are doing that. I've spoken with some of the executives here a couple of times. And by the way, how are they supposed to function effectively without funding?
Well, I also did say that the establishment, the funding of the state police, you.
Why do you always jump to state police when I'm asking about the neighborhood safety watch? But I think it's obvious anyway. This conversation is not going around in circles. Great to hear from you, though. Thanks for your contribution. I've got a commercial break coming up shortly. The major news is up at 6 p.m., of course. And if you've missed out on contributing to any of the matters discussed on the show today, I'll take your thoughts after the major news during the open station segment. Every matter, my side comments, today's rant, and the other discussions as well. I hope for discussion after that, all the way to about 7 o'clock when the show comes to an end today. All right, do please stay tuned. Hard Facts returns shortly.